What's up, y'all? It's been a while since I've been on here, so I wanted to give y'all a couple updates and also talk about what we're doing today. So as you can see, I've got on my new tri-kit, joined up with Team Zoot this season, hashtag Team Zoot. Really loving this stuff right now. I mean, it's a pretty sweet deal. You just got to rep the stuff at the races you do, and you get a nice discount on this awesome kit, plus a bunch of cool discounts and other stuff that I use all the time. So it's a win-win. So today I took off of work. It's Friday, and I am going to be doing some testing of the different kit choices I have for the Ironman. I often find that I spend a lot of time thinking about what I should wear, searching for those marginal gains, wanting to be the most aerodynamic as possible. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, does this really matter? Am I just adding a bunch of stress to things that don't really need to be going into my mind during race day? So here's what I'm testing today. I've got a sleeveless tri-kit that you see. I like these because my arms get bound up when I swim, if I have sleeves on, whether it's in a wetsuit or a full sleeve tri-kit or whatever. So I want to test the sleeveless as a baseline. And then I have a Aero sleeved tri-top from Zoot as well that I'm going to be testing out. That one just covers the arm, so it's got a little bit more coverage from a skin exposure. I often get sunburnt on the back of my shoulder blades. That really usually hurts later in the marathon. So if I can comfortably wear that and I'm a little faster and I don't get a sunburn, that's a win. So I'll be testing that out. And then I also have my regular Aero road helmet that it's a Bontrager Ballista. It's all black. I like it a lot. I'll be testing that out. I found sometimes it feels like that's faster, especially when I'm looking down a bunch because I don't have a tail sticking up. So I'm going to test that out as a baseline as well. And then I've got my Rudy Project Wing 57 Aero helmet with the visor on it, and I'll test that out too. I think that I'm a little surprised to see if the Ballista helmet is faster or just as fast as the Wing 57, because although I like the looks of the Aero helmet, from a function and fit perspective, it's way easier to just throw on the Ballista helmet. So I'm going to try out those 4 setups today, and here's how I'm going to do it. So I'm heading over to the rec center that I swim at. I'm going to use that as my home base. I've mapped out a 5-mile loop around that area that's all right-hand turns. It's got just 2 stoplights for straightaways, but they're very, infrequently traveled. So I'm hoping that I don't have to stop at stoplights at all, and I'll just make these 5-mile loops. Now, obviously, conditions can change between the loops, whether or not I have to stop at stoplights, whatever. This is not a scientific experiment. It's more about how do I feel, what's my perceived exertion, and then I'll do a couple different loops of that with each setup to try to get an average, and then I'm hoping that with averaging everything out, I can make some accurate comparisons. The other thing I'll do after I get done with all this is I can throw the data into Golden Cheetah, analyze those power profiles to see if I can come up with what the aerodynamic drag would be. And I'll have to make some adjustments based on the wind. Wind is steadily out of the west right now. Shouldn't be more than 6 or 7 miles per hour. Not ideal, again, for testing. All you sticklers out there, this is not wind tunnel type testing. This is field testing. It's form, function, feel, those type of things that I'm looking for. So I will check back in as we do our setups, and we'll hope we don't get any more rain today. We had a nice little rain shower, thunderstorm this morning. Roads look pretty dry. These are all typical concrete, fast drying roads with plenty of drainage, so I'm not expecting any wet surface issues. And we'll hope for some good testing and get some good insight into what I should be wearing on race day. Check in with y'all in a minute. All right, runs 1 and 2 done. I had to lap it in between, so lap 2 is a nothing lap, but time to drop the road helmet off, put on the Aero helmet, give it a shot again. I'm gonna do 2 more loops. What I'm finding is it's really hard to be consistent because of the stoplights, and and it's really tough to hold the same power. You know, I'm trying to hit between 190 and 200, but even just getting to 200 sometimes because of elevation change and everything, it's difficult. So who knows what we're gonna get from this, but we're just gonna play around and have fun and ride some bikes. All right, we got 4 laps done, 2 different setups. Now I've got the sleeved tri jersey on. You know, I'm a bit sweaty already and it was a little tough to get on, but I managed it. So maybe I can do this in the transition 1 coming out of the swim when I'm all wet. But we'll give this setup a try. I'm gonna do the Aero helmet first. That way I can switch back into the regular helmet and then probably just keep that set up for the rest of the ride. All right, here we go. All right, so made it through my 3rd setup, but now the wind is picking up like crazy. You can see my hair blowing pretty good. It's coming out of the west from the storm that was blowing through. So any comparison from here on is probably not gonna be very valid. I'm gonna be pushing a lot more power just to go into the headwind section. So I've got the long sleeve on right now. I'm gonna keep this set up for the rest of the ride. I've got about 80 miles that I was gonna do total. Throw on the regular ballista helmet in case I get, you know, a couple stretches where I can analyze a segment or 2, just to look at, you know, speed versus power for those profiles. And yeah, just finish out the ride. All right, so cut it a bit short. The wind is really heavy here. And, you know, the course can be windy. I get it. Like, I want to practice in the wind, but it's cold and windy, and, you know, I don't want to risk losing control and having a bike accident. So I'm going to pause on the ride at about 55 miles, and now I'm going to transition to a 10K run. Do that, and then we'll just add some more bike volume to this weekend to make up for it. But overall, I think it was a good ride, good test. I like this loop. It's nice to be able to take breaks and pause and stuff like that, but it's hella windy. See ya. All right, guys, so it's been a while since I did my little test outside, my whole non-scientific Aero testing protocol. Either way, the wind made the results pretty hard to interpret. The one that came out the best, at least the way I interpreted the data, was obviously having a Aero sleeve jersey on with Aero helmet. So that's my race setup. I tested it out on a couple longer endurance rides. I was able to hold pretty high average mile per hour moving, around 21 miles per hour off of 165 watts normalized power. So that's pretty good for, you know, being a taller athlete. And yeah, that's a pretty fast setup. So that's what I'm gonna run. That's my testing, and now I'm on to sweat it up on this bike. See you next time.